No. Hi guys. So I have Frank Ugobode here with me. He's a digital marketing specialist, and I was privileged enough to work with him for a short time at a digital marketing media agency back home in Lagos, Nigeria. Hi, Frank.
Hey, for me. Hi, everyone. Really, really excited to be here. Just share one or two things with you all. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about yourself and your experience in digital, your background and experience in digital marketing.
Okay. Yeah. So, like he said, my name is Frank. Franklin, whichever one you decide to call, I'm good with it. I've pretty much worked in marketing and communications for over half a decade now. I failed to at some point. So I think once it went past 5 years, I just stopped counting. But yeah, I've done that for a little over 5 years. I started off working as an intern for a PR company called 360 Knobs, owned by Nobody Gwe and Oye and Tonia. I started off as an intern, sort of got promoted to working as a full staff. Um, and between then and now, I have worked at various industries. I'm very, very excited about the amount of industries I've worked in. I've done stuff in e-commerce. I've done stuff in fintech. I've done stuff in media, which is where Fermi and I worked together. Yeah, and yeah, even logistics, lifestyle. I've just pretty much covered a couple of roles between marketing and communications team. I've headed some teams. I've worked on social. I've worked on content. I've worked on email. I've just pretty much, in some type of way, sort of spread tentacles really across various fields. And yeah, I'm still learning really because I think like there's still a lot to sort of cover. You never really know it all. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much about it. I don't think there's any other thing I'm missing out really.
Yeah. So what would you say? What would you say is your favorite aspect of digital marketing?
Oh, that's good. I think my favorite aspect of digital marketing is just connecting to people. One of the biggest things about digital, which I think it is sort of why it's preferred over traditional, is because you're able to measure stuff. So when you have campaigns and when you have very smart tools that help you sort of understand your audience and know the people who are interacting with your stuff and know whatever it is you're or who are these people, where are they from, where do they live, what what age bracket do they fall into, and so just connecting with them is sort of like very exciting for me because it's the opportunity to sort of tweak narratives, change perception, and just help them sort of understand the product or the service you're selling like a lot better than they would have. So it's more or less like, oh, how I give you use an example that we're familiar with. While we worked at Ringia Pulse, we had like a lot of people who were sort of like between the Gen Z and millennial demographic. So it was
Yeah.
very easy for us to know how to communicate with them. We would use pop culture slurs. We would use just stuff they were very familiar with when we were trying to reach them on campaigns or just trying to reach them on general content basis. That would change if we were reaching out to older people, maybe Gen X in this case, or we're trying to work on a product for Gen X people. It's the sort of narrative and the communication tone and the brand voice would sort of differ. So just the fact that you get to work on exciting things for different people and connect to them, because it's one thing to sort of brainstorm on it and then it's another thing to sort of vibe with them such that they see it and they feel like, this is my shit, this is whoever created this had this in mind while I was doing it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much like exciting for me whenever I get to do that.
Yeah, that's great. It was really good working at Pulse. I think Pulse taught us a lot in the digital marketing and social media space at the time. I don't think maybe I don't think I realized it or realized how much I was learning like while I was there. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, you learn a lot.
Very key. Yeah,
So
I actually recommend it to people who I know randomly. I'm just like, oh, I feel like it's such a good space to work. You may feel like it's a lot of work, but I feel like you're sort of like a better person for it at the end of
yeah,
the day.
yeah. So um, with social media and digital marketing, like you said, it can be a lot of work. It can be like really stressful. How do you how do you manage that stress?
Hmm. I think personally for me, I'm sort of able to, and I only came into this very recently, being able to sort of differentiate between realizing that my work persona is different from me as a person. And I think it's something that people tend to, or would need to come into at some point. Because for a lot of people, their work persona is sort of tied to who they are as well, who they are really.
Yeah,
So in some type of way, you find yourself juxtapose, or well, not juxtapose in this sense. You're merging both of them together. So for me, I realized, oh, this is work time and this is play time. And if I fall short on one of these things, I would probably need to decide when to sort of sort it together. So it's just pretty much for me setting boundaries. When does this work? When does this not work? When is this supposed to be work? When am I looking at social media for myself? When am I looking for social media for work? And it's a lot really because you work in digital marketing, there's this constant need for you to be on. You sort of need to know what's happening. You sort of need to know what trend
yeah,
is going on. So you adapt it into what's happening. I was looking at creatives for Easter the other day, and I saw that a lot of people had that choke thing that the video is going on, and you can
yeah,
kind of there's a lot of work that goes into it. Like, oh, people have seen it on social media, and people are trying to find how to adapt it into their communication and how they can use like pop trendy stuff like that. So for me, it's just
yeah,
more or less, oh, identifying boundaries. So I may be working, I may be like going through social media for like my own personal consumption, and there's
yeah,
like a moment where I'm just like, oh yeah, this is something that would tap as if we tend to, or if we did this for work. And that for me is
yeah,
just noting that and writing it down somewhere, and just realizing that, oh, this is personal time. This is not my time to focus on crafting strategies, or this is not my time to think of brainstorming stuff for work. This is Frank's time for Frank to relax,
yeah,
and yeah, that's basically
yeah,
it for a lot of setting
yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah, so you just know that, oh, okay, during at this certain time, I'm not working. At
Exactly.
this time, I'm going to be working on, like, I'm going to put my all into it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's fantastic. So like you spoke about creating content for brands. How how important do you think it is that for brands to be active in social media and be in the social media space?
Very, very important. Very, very important. So, I took a course a while ago, and somewhere in that course, we discussed customer journey. Um, and it's more or less like, oh, the 21st century customer is very, very, very much aware. So the 21st century customer wants to pretty much know everything about the product before um, they get like they make a decision, they make a buying decision. Give you an
Yeah,
instance. What am I going to use? Okay, I have a Google Pixel in front of me. So yes, I want to get a Google Pixel, a new one. I have a 3, so I want to get a 4 or a 5 or 6. And I'm trying to look. I've pretty much done like a Google search, and I can see. I mean, Google must have optimized, so I can pretty much even see that. Oh, the website of the manufacturer is up there. I can see all the good copies they've written. I can see everything that they have done and all of that bullshit. And And then I go onto social media, check their handle, and maybe they haven't tweeted in like, I don't know, 2 years. It's a bit off for me. Check the comments or check like their mentions. And this is even something I do personally. Check your mentions, and there are a couple of people who are complimenting it, but they feel like really weird negative feedback. And it's sort of put a pin in my plans because I'm now like, if I get my Google Pixel, would I have like similar problems? Would I have like, so it's very, very important because everybody wants to know what's happening. People want to stay abreast. People need information like this to make business buying decisions. People want to feel like they're carried along at the end of the day. And social media pretty much affords you the opportunity to do that. So you're able to influence customer decisions. If I keep seeing a tweet from a particular brand that sells, I don't know, food, lunch, if I want to buy lunch randomly, it's registered in that, yeah, okay, these guys sell food. I can check them out, just see if it's something. Then it then boils down to, what kind of content are they creating, and does it look attractive to me, or does it? But it's registered in my head that they're very much available and they're willing to do to cater to my needs. It affords you the opportunity to influence buying decisions. It helps you reach out to new audience. Helps you listen to people, because when people tell you the issues they're having, at the end of the day, I feel like product services are actually tailored to the consumer or the customer in this case. And so when they tell you, this isn't working for them, it's only fair that you sort of tweak it and try to find how to make it better for them. So it's pretty much social media is so important because it allows you to do a lot of things, and you're literally spending little to zero manpower for it. You just need someone who's really, really great at their job to focus on it. You need people to assist in various cases because probably the person is not good at, well, there are a couple of roles that would need to be intertwined, but it's just a very, very important tool that affords you the opportunity to do a lot. And so I feel like even in this age, people who are not even taking advantage of that opportunity are sort of missing out on a very huge gold mine, because there's a lot of possibilities and opportunities that can come from it.
Yeah, because it allows you connect with your customers, or like connect with a larger audience, and it also helps you control the narrative, or like
Exactly.
it helps you control the narrative about stuff.
You're able to talk. You're able to speak on certain stuff. You're able to talk about stuff. People just generally want to feel like, they're connected to. And it's why when you open emails, promotional emails from brands and companies and all of that, they try to personalize your emails. So when you're registering on their website, they ask you stuff like, what are you interested in? Are you interested in, maybe I give you a good example, you're on Arsenal's website and you want to subscribe to Arsenal's weekly newsletter. They ask you, what are you interested in? Are you interested in player updates? And you tick out the things you're interested in. Why do they do that? Because they want to know what content is meaningful to you. So people just want to feel like, they're connected to you. You get what they want, and you're sort of giving it to them. And social media pretty much allows you to do that very easily.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. Thank you. So my next question would be, what are some of the major challenges that you've come across working in social media and the digital marketing space?
Okay, that's interesting. I think one of the major problems, it's a lot. Blocks, obviously, and because people who tend to work in this field are creatives, or people who would need to be creative at some certain point. And I feel like we're human. So every now and then a few blocks here, and you just feel like very unmotivated to do stuff here. So there are blocks, and it's worse if you're working with like a one-man team, which is sort of why I feel like for things like this, it's always better to work with a very huge team, because you just get, well, not very huge, but you get to work with a team.
Yeah, you have enough manpower at least.
Yeah, like I takes me back to when we worked at Pulse and how we conceptualize ideas, and like there was just a lot of, we just sat down and thought about a lot of things together and how to go about it, and I feel like that's very important. So managing blogs, I also think it can be a little fast paced sometimes,
Yeah.
and it's dependent on a lot of things. A couple of companies start off building a product and do not focus on marketing. And then they bring in a marketing person or digital marketing person or social media person, and they're like, oh, I want this to triple in like 2 days. And it's not jazz, it's not magic. A lot of things in marketing are very experimental. So a good example would be like the choke ad I told you about. If they wanted people to make a decision from that, or if they wanted people to buy something from that, they would need to check after a while to see if there was conversion. Were people able to do what they wanted at the end of the day? And if there's not, you get to try like something different and see, oh, the possibility of that working. But it could be a very fast pace, because people are just like, oh, the people you work with, the people you report to are just like, oh, I want to see numbers. I want to see. I mean, no shade, but there was a point where that was all obsession with numbers. Oh, I want to see this. I'm obsessed with monetization. Oh, how is this increasing? And for some of these things, it takes a while. It takes structure, dependent on the industries, dependent on the type of people you're reaching out to. So it could be like a lot, very fast-paced a couple of times. Outside the blocks and the fast-paced nature, I think that's like some of the most recurring blocks too. You may also get fatigued personally, yeah, because a lot of times, like we actually talked earlier, you're looking at content. Someone sends you stuff, and this happened to me a lot when I was working on actively. Like someone would send me stuff, and I'm just like, okay. I read the caption and I'm like, yeah, do I really want to watch this video? I look at the length and I'm just really burnt out already with that, because I know part of my work involves looking at a lot of these videos every day, looking at a lot of this content every day, and I've had like it to a level I'm not interested in any new content again. Yeah. Outside, I think like these are some of like the most recurring stuff that happens when you work in social media, or when you work in digital marketing. This tends to happen over and over and over again.
Yeah, I really agree with you on that fatigue one, because back then working as a social media manager, you're filtering through a lot of content, you're consuming a lot of content, and you have to create content as well based on the things that you've seen and like all the information. So there's a lot of information overload. At the end of the day, you don't even At the end of the day, you don't even want to look at social media. You don't want to open Twitter. You don't want to look at Instagram. You don't want to know what's happening. You don't want to know what's happening.
When I left to make it full time as a social, I mean, because now a lot of my work sort of spans a broader. So I'm working on acquisition for new customers, and I tend to work on social as well. But I have someone on my team who that's the person's full time job, and I feel sorry for them. But it's not my hassle anymore. I remember I would want to take Twitter breaks, and I'll deactivate my account for a bit or something, and I'm just coming back because, somebody has sent something to the WhatsApp group, or guys, we need to pick this up, guys, we need to work on this ASAP, and they write emails ASAP, not again. But I think it's cycle for like people who work in digital and social generally.
This is like kind of off topic, but so since I left Pulse, like how many months ago, I'm still in most of the work group chats. So I'm aware of what's happening over there, and like every morning, because of the time difference, I wake up to like loads of notifications and stuff. It's funny, and like I'm just like, oh, thank God that this isn't my stress anymore. Thank God this isn't my stress anymore.
No, I don't envy people who do that. I don't actually. When I did that, when I left, I felt like I was on a, I felt like I was in a, what do you call it? I just pretty much felt very free. I wasn't looking at the news. I wasn't
Yeah.
I, all of those. Oh my god! I remember Complex. I unfollowed Complex. Well, I think I'm
Oh,
back to following. But I,
yeah.
because I just remember them for like a lot of viral videos then at the point, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, you've served the purpose for me, and yeah,
Yeah.
I was just like detaching quietly and slowly from all of the many hubs and groups and platforms that I had grown so used to
Yeah.
looking at on a normal.
Yeah. Like crowd tangle, then
No,
you it's such a funny thing when like when I actually stopped working, uh, like for school, so I could focus on school. I
yeah,
It was such a breath of fresh air. I was, but also at the point, I just felt like anxiety that, oh, like what am I doing now? There's things like, because I was so used to working fast paced.
it's become your routine. It's literally
Yeah,
become your routine. The time I opened Crowd Tangle after I left full time working in social media, it felt so new. It felt so strange. So now Tango for me just has like maybe an inspiration list for where I just check out what's happening in the industry and what's happening and
mm,
what we can take advantage of and what we can take advantage of. And I pretty much send it to the person who sort of handles social media on my team now, and they
yeah,
just brainstorm and send back to me, or we can have conversations about it. But the first time I opened it after I left, it was strange to me
yeah,
because yeah, I'd grown so used to looking at what is overperforming, what is underperforming, and I'm just like, yeah, it's so good to be out of that bubble sometimes.
yeah. So let me just explain real quick what crowd tangle is, because I don't think most people would know what it is. It's basically a social media listening tool. So it helps you filter out things on social media, the best performing content, or um, if you want to listen to a particular topic across different platforms like Facebook, Instagram. I think it does Reddit as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good tool to help you manage your social media listening and basically get analytics as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's really great.
yeah, great tool. So, um, what what's what advice would you give to someone who's looking to get into the social social media digital marketing industry?
Um, so I think the first thing I would actually advise is to work on yourself and hone your craft. And when I say hone your craft, it's a lot because it's just try stuff, be armed with stuff. Like I said, when I started or when I started talking about it, there are a lot of new stuff happening every day. I was just looking maybe like a few weeks back, and I realized that my Google Ads certification had expired. I think that takes like maybe a year and half. I don't know, a year and 6 months. So it means I have to sort of take it again and
Yeah,
see how like my expertise is at the moment. So just you need to arm yourself with a lot of stuff. You need to
mm,
a couple of skills you need to work on your creativity, try to see how you can communicate stuff to people, because which is why I feel like marketing and comms are sort of intertwined, because at the end of the day you just want to be passing the right shit to, or you want to be telling
yeah,
the users the right thing to do, or you want to point them in the right direction where they make an action. So you need
yeah,
to hone it. You need to get at your stuff. There are a lot of um, well, I don't know if I would say like there are a lot of people in the industry, but yeah, like there are people coming up. So you just need to keep getting better at what you do. You need to show like, and I feel like it's maybe sort of like a curse that marketing people need to or have to face. You sort of have to prove that, because a couple of people actually still think that marketing is very indispensable. So it's
mm,
almost like you sort of have to work harder because you have to show your workings, you have to do so. Just keep getting better at whatever it is you do. Be creative, try to be creative, try to take stuff. I mean, it doesn't even necessarily mean taking a lot of course. Just look at stuff and see how you can do it better. Look at how you can, try to work on stuff randomly. Attach yourself to someone, who has worked in this role before, and see how you can get shit done like better and faster. I think another thing I would just generally advise is do something. And when I say do something, try to do something. So it's always better personally, and so I've heard from other people when you can say that you have done something, especially when you're applying for a marketing job. If you're doing that as an
Okay.
entry level,
Yeah, so maybe something like a blog or like a vlog or something like
just
that,
just
basically.
have something exactly. So
Yeah.
you can play into your interests. I enjoy eating out a lot. So every now and then, I'm not very active there, but I have like a food Instagram where I just post pictures of food on there. You can try find an interest. It could be you're a gamer, or it could be you are obsessed with cars or something. Try to grow a community.
Mm,
Manage an Instagram, build a blog, create a vlog, write a newsletter, just something. I mean, so it's okay for you to do that if you are attached to a brand, if you can get your legs into work like with a brand or a company. But if you can't, it would you stand at a better advantage when you say, oh, I was able to manage this, and within the time I did that, or there was a 10% increase in the follower count, there was a
mm,
20% increase in the number of subscribers. It just puts you at an advantage over like other people, or all of these are elements of digital marketing in some type of way. And you just seem like, oh, an enthusiastic person who really wants, or who really sort of understands the basics, and it would be nice for you to get on board. Yeah, yeah, I think that's basically just it. Just keep creating really,
yeah,
and keep us at it, finding new ways to do stuff, looking out for innovation. Pretty much good for it.
yeah. And for for brands for brands that are maybe maybe new or not so active in the social media and digital marketing space, well how would you advise that they can get into it and get and do it properly?
Okay, so I think strategy is mostly it's just find strategic ways to get on board, to start it off.
Yeah.
Um, Another interesting thing I've actually noticed is there are a couple of industries that necessarily don't. I mean, for their marketing, they do other things that aren't really social media related. So,
Mm,
they're working on other things, they're doing emails, they're doing leads, they're looking at maybe tapping into communities, so trying to reach out to communities and
mm,
having the people in these communities use their product. But I also think it's a good look if you, even if it's not very consistent, especially for communities like this or for industries like this, just to have some form of consistency. And it's sort of like a general thing. So
okay.
start off with a bit of consistency. Let's know this is a posting schedule, and it ties into strategy. This is a content format. Do a content audit. See, if you can't if you can't get someone who's full time to do it, outsource it to somebody. Outsource is there. A lot of digital companies that can manage your marketing for you, and then you pay them like a token. Yeah, so outsource it to somebody if you can't get like a full on person. But either way, just be there, just be visible, just be consistent. Try to get. So it reminds me, a while ago, I was doing a document for work, and it's just like, oh, um, part of the attributes or part of the key objectives that was there was, end share of markets, or end like our share of the voice in the industry, because that's what you want to do at the end of the day. So you need to take advantage of it. Um, Start off with, if you don't have someone who's doing it at this point, start by getting a dedicated person to run it, because I feel like one of the biggest problem is that people generally don't take it so serious. So it's one of those things, oh, like the CEO is running, or somebody who's running operations, or somebody who's just taking another role is now taking it like as some side thing. It's not really assigned to somebody. So you need to start taking it serious. And you need
Yeah.
to start getting out there. You need to get out word out there. Just be consistent and be strategic in your communications, and you're pretty much. It will take a while. It's not
Yeah.
like, yeah, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work with speed of light. But once you are consistent and you get some shit done, you would actually start to get like rewards from it generally.
Yeah. So like I don't know, you mentioned something about like some managers not taking like social media marketing or like digital marketing in general seriously enough. So would you say that's one of the biggest challenges for uh the social media industry, social media digital marketing industry, basically, like people not taking it seriously?
It's serious. It is. It is. It is. And I remember I said a while back that, oh, there are a couple of people who just build products or build services, and they use lines like, oh, you just need to build a good product, and a good, like, it would find you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you don't. It's not necessarily true, because I feel like the right from the point where you're brainstorming on the product, you need to get like perception. How do customers feel about who are you building for? Do you do like feasibility studies? Do you know who you're hoping to target to? So I feel like for a couple of people, marketing is sort of like an afterthought. Oh, let us build the product, and when we're done building the product, we just get somebody that will now work on marketing.
Yeah.
And it's a big problem, because it then, like, it's for a lot of people, it's more or less like, oh, it's an afterthought for them. And
Yeah.
that's where it comes in. When you think of it as an afterthought, then you start making rookie mistakes. Like, I remember someone reached out to me, um reached out to me and told me they wanted to hire an intern for their marketing team. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool stuff. Um, and they wanted me to sit in on the interview. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, no, well, you're my person. I'm good to do that. But
Yeah.
you're hiring an intern, so who's going to be heading, or who's going to be managing this intern? Because obviously this is an intern who's just trying to learn stuff. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, the intern is to take over the whole thing. And I thought it was weird, but that's like a lot of people's perceptions. Or we just hire someone who will come and posting for us on Instagram, and that's just like the end of it all. And that's not how it's supposed to be. You're trying to save costs, but at the end of the day, you end up burning costs. You'll be burning like a lot more. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's fantastic. Thank you. Um, I think I've actually
Did you say?
run out of questions.
Can you hear me?
So yeah, I can hear you. So I think that's all. Thank you for your time, Frank, and thank you for your insight. Do you have any last words you'd like to share?
It's been great doing this. I feel like, as people who work in marketing and corporate comms, just keep doing just keep pushing the boundaries, and we're pretty much good. Just keep doing outstanding work, because it's not very easy to do what you do every day. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you, Frank. I'm gonna stop the recording now.